2020 has been an interesting year for retro games coming back. More particularly on the Sony side of things, they have overhauled their PS Plus program. Now it has a 3-tiered system, and with its top tier you get access to a growing library of PS1, PS2, and PSP games. There's only a handful of PS1 titles out now, but one of my favorites made the list, Syphon Filter. This is a series that has been dormant for many years, with its last entry being on the PSP. Now while I have no idea if a new Syphon Filter is in development, I do think if Sony sees many people using their PS Plus Premium to play Syphon Filter, or outright buy it on the PSN like I did, it might show their management that there is a current audience for this property. And with Syphon Filter being easily available to even more players today, I thought it might be a good idea to go over some of the mechanical stuff to keep an eye out for, and generally what to expect from this title if it's your first time diving into it today. If you're looking for something specific, check the pinned comment as I've divided everything up into topics there. So here is what to expect from Syphon Filter. Syphon Filter is a third-person shooter with a nice mixture of stealth and action. This was originally released on the PS1, so for anyone who has only played modern titles, the controls might take some time to get used to. Now I preferred the game with the default control scheme. I played this when it originally released, so a lot of this is muscle memory for me. But Syphon also offers the option to change some of the button inputs, and as such you can tweak the control system to something a bit more modern. For example, like putting the fire button on one of the triggers. So if the default control scheme is not working for you, take the time to change some of the buttons around to find something that feels better. For the third-person shooting, Syphon features a target lock system. Lock-on systems were common at the time, but one thing I really loved about the camera in this game is that there's a sweeping and dynamic approach to how they use it. When you hit target lock, you will snap to the closest enemy as the camera slowly swings around to show you your target. This adds in a cinematic element to the combat. Now in some cases you might be target locked onto an enemy, but Gabe will not be facing in the right direction to actually hit the individual. So when you are using target lock, there is a green bar that will appear at the top to indicate the likelihood of you hitting your enemy. So you can be target locked onto someone, and be turned in such a direction that you'll never hit the henchman that you're trying to hit even though you're locked onto them. So make sure that Gabe is faced in the proper direction to ensure that he makes those hits. This doesn't happen often, but there are a handful of times when I first played this that I thought it was odd that I wasn't making contact with the enemy, even though I was locked onto them. So always check your placement while in combat and your target lock bar. To improve your chances at hitting your target, you can hold the crouch button down while moving or staying stationary. This will greatly increase your chances of hitting any of your targets. The target lock is also very useful in letting you know if you can hit a target that is really far away. Now you also have the option to aim in first person. As you hold down one of the shoulder buttons, you can surgically choose where you want to hit the enemy. This is useful for a few situations. Now the only downside is that you cannot move while in first person, but you can lean left and right, meaning that you can make good use of cover as you poke in and out to try and take out a sniper or thin the herd before moving in. You will mainly be using the manual aim for headshots to take out many enemies rather quickly. Throughout the campaign there are enemies with flak jackets on. You will see the text pop up on enemies that you target that have them. Now the manual aim is the quickest way to take these enemies out, but something that is not obvious to the player is that you can kill these enemies by using the target lock system as well. It will just take much longer. For example, if you use target lock on someone with a flak jacket, it will appear like you're not doing any damage to them, but eventually you will break through the body armor and kill them. Much of this comes down to trade-offs. Sometimes you might be fighting someone with body armor and grenades, which means you want to be more mobile to dodge the grenades while also peppering them with bullets. If you do kill a flak jacket individual with a headshot, they will drop body armor down that you can pick up to refill yours. If you destroy their body armor, you will have nothing to pick up. Now when it comes to your other controls, you can use an action button for interacting with objects, reloading, along with your main means to climb. The shoulder buttons are used for strafing, with a roll button being used as your main means of defense. In the upper left-hand corner of the screen, below your armor and health bar, a damage meter will pop up when you're being targeted. Once the bar is full, then you'll have a high likelihood of taking a hit. You can help to decrease this in a few ways. For one, you can kill the guy targeting you, and then you eliminate the threat altogether. You can use your roll as a means to make yourself harder to hit, or you can hide behind cover and use the first person aiming to lean out and fire back. Now there's a few other movement options that I want to share that are good to know up front. You can make a quick 180-degree turn if you hit down on the D-pad twice. And with you being able to climb, in some cases you will need to find a way to get back down. If you walk normally, you can easily fall off the edge, and either take fall damage or outright die. If you crouch walk near the edge, you will slowly climb down. When it comes to your starting equipment, your silenced pistol and sniper will be your go-tos for any of the stealth situations. While the flashlight appears to be a novelty item, it becomes essential in some areas of the game, as it reveals objectives that are hidden in darkness. So if you're in a dark area, be sure to use your flashlight. Lean on your map and mini-map as well. Some areas might be hard to navigate through, like the first time in level 4 as the park is set at night and in the rain. Your pause menu will keep you focused on where you are and where you need to go to help you from getting lost. The in-game mini-map is great as well, as it shows you enemies with a small dot icon, and in many cases this will allow you to get the drop on them. Sometimes you might need to find an objective like a bomb, and your mini-map will start pinging when you're within range of the bomb. And the best piece of equipment is your taser. I never got tired of using this, and it's darkly funny to use. Now this next part is going to be more so related to the design of Syphon Filter. This is not a game that holds the player's hand to the objective. There's a good amount of problem solving, exploration, and player discovery found within the level design. For example, the game may tell you where your objective is by giving you a general area to look for it in, but it won't handhold you to it. In some cases, you need to observe your surroundings and put 2 and 2 together to complete it. This can lead to some frustration for new players just playing this today, but it can also feel like a breath of fresh air compared to many modern titles. Now the problem solving isn't anything extensively complex, but instead it will require the player to think and figure out much of the game to proceed. This can also lead you to some of the game's secrets, like being able to find the grenade launcher within level 1. Now in many cases the levels will allow you to tackle them from both a stealth approach and a more direct action approach. I would suggest trying to tackle Syphon Filter in a more conservative manner, and use stealth whenever possible. I do love running and gunning in this game, but it is extremely satisfying to take missions a bit slower and be more calculated within the levels. So if you find yourself having a hard time, try the stealthier approach. Now there are a few levels that are strictly no detection stealth missions. There is still some fun to be had in these areas, but this type of design will definitely be a source of frustration. For these situations and anything else like it, like making a wrong move or turn, leaning into using the new features within the PS5 and PS4 emulation of this game is a good idea. Sony added in features like being able to save anywhere in the game at any time, along with a rewind feature. For example, if you die in a fight and you don't want to go back to the last checkpoint, you can rewind to the point where you were just about to fail, or you can even go back further if needed. This is a really awesome feature that I think will help to alleviate some frustration for new players when playing these older games. This was meant to be a video to give new players a rundown of the mechanics, design, and some things that you would pick up on after playing the game for a while. My hope is that this will help to encourage more people to give Syphon Filter a try. As a personal recommendation, play the very first level a few times. It is a good big area with a variety of locations, and I use this as a means to get really familiar with the controls and how the shooting works when I was going through this game. And then when you get to level 4 at Washington Park, replay this level a few times to understand and get a better feel for the stealth system here. Both levels 1 and 4 are some of the best in the game and great areas to learn and get better understandings of the mechanics. For trophy hunters, there is a Platinum available for the PS4 and PS5 versions as well. Syphon Filter does have some areas that are dated, and could use some more refinement, like some mild stuff with a target lock, some cheap one-hit deaths, and instant fail stealth sections. But there is a lot here that has aged very well, especially considering from a design standpoint. They really don't make games like this anymore. Syphon succeeds in providing just enough room for the player to piece things together, to complete objectives, allowing for satisfying aha moments, along with having enjoyable stealth action. I highly recommend Syphon Filter, and I hope you give it a try. If you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you would like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.